Hello everyone, Amanda here. Hope you're all doing well. Today is the 3rd of September, but it is 5:30 in the evening and I'm only just starting to make this video. So I don't know whether it's going to go up today or whether it might go up tomorrow. We'll see. I'm going to make a video about the constitutional crisis in the UK. And then I can hopefully move on to other subjects. But this feels very pressing today. I just picked out this deck, which is The Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette and Reid. I've never noticed before, but it's obviously relevant for today. We've got the bright red and the blue. Well, red is Labour, the traditional Labour Party in the UK, and blue is the Conservatives. So I don't know I don't know why, but anyway, I'm just telling you, I just noticed it. So I hope you're doing well. Let's have a look at what's going on. As I've said, I have done a couple of videos already on Brexit. I've done one on Boris Johnson. I think it was called Boris Man of Destiny, but things are moving so fast at the moment that it's good to go back and have another look with fresh energy. As it stands today, I'm going to check the news just to see if anything else has happened, but as of 5:30 in the evening, I think he's just lost the majority. He's just lost his majority, basically. So somebody's just crossed the floor to join the Liberal Democrats, which means he does not have a majority in Parliament anymore. So he's going to find it very hard to get anything through. He was also intending on suspending Parliament to force the deal through. But now Parliament is back and sitting. He has got his work cut out, basically. So speculation today is that a general election is going to be called if he loses the vote tonight. And the vote tonight, from what I can understand, is linked to trying to block us exiting without a deal on the 31st of October. So if that goes through, and i.e. he can't take us out without a deal, then speculation is then we head for a general election, which will be before we leave. I hope you're keeping up with this, all those people who aren't in Britain. It's very confusing, and it's confusing for us as well. So I thought I would just pull some cards on it today, ask a few different questions and see what we get. I think to start with, I'm just going to ask, let's just see the general energy around this whole situation today. So, and I'm talking about the government, so the constitutional crisis, the government. Let's just have a look at the government led by Boris Johnson. Let's have a look at where we are at present. And the card that's come out is the Four of Swords. And what I'm being told there is this reminds me of the crypts that you see at Westminster Abbey. And of course, the Houses of Parliament are very near Westminster Abbey. And indeed, they are in Westminster. They're on Westminster Bridge. And I feel as though this is a nod to the fact that the government wants to suspend Parliament, because a suspended Parliament is, in essence, a Parliament that has been put to sleep. Okay? Because this card is about sleep. It's about withdrawal. I think that's what that is about. But we know that, but I think that's just confirming that's what it is. Let's pull a card for Boris's energy at this time. We know he's embattled. Let's just see what the cards say. So Boris's energy at this time. He's got the Five of Swords. And he's also, I've just noticed the world is upside down as well, which isn't a particularly, that's not a particularly great thing to see. But right now, it's the Five of Swords. This is about, he wants to win at any cost. The Five of Swords is always about a victory that has been won, but at what cost? Because the victor is there with his sword in the air, triumphant, but the people that you would think would be there to support him, i.e. people that might have fought alongside him, are just sort of walking away and he's left alone. So there is this feeling here that I will, it's almost as though I want to win at all costs. And it seems very clear. The fact that the world is on the bottom of the deck reversed, and I will just show that the whole deck isn't reversed. So we've got the world is reversed. The world is the card which is about the completion of completion of something, whether it's a project, a phase. So this is saying that the project is not complete. So I'm just going to pull that one out as well, okay? Let's pull one card out for Brexit and the likelihood of us leaving on the 31st of October. Let's not bring deal or no deal into it. Let's just ask about the likelihood of Brexit on the 31st of October 2019. The likelihood of Brexit happening on the 31st of October 2019. And we've got the 6 of Wands there, which is implying victory. Okay, so it's implying that it will happen. What's on the bottom of the deck? Well, the bottom of the deck is the Fool card, which is the fresh new start. So judging on that, it's saying that somehow between where we are now, which is utter chaos and constitutional crisis, and where we get to by the 31st of October, somehow a deal is done, or we exit anyway. Let's just ask now, do we exit with no deal? Do we exit with no deal? And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to ask other questions. Do we exit with no deal? We've got the Ace of Cups, and then we've got the 3 of Swords on the bottom of the deck. The Ace of Cups to me is, in this interpretation, is, if you look at it, the cups are about emotions. So there's a lot of emotion. People are feeling very emotional, and there's also an ending here. I'm actually hearing the word a betrayal. There's a betrayal. I'm not quite sure what that means yet in terms of this context, but I'm hearing the word betrayal. So there's a lot of emotion and there is a betrayal. Doesn't necessarily mean, that's interesting. I'm not necessarily picking up that the betrayal comes from Boris or whoever is in power at that time. I can't believe I'm even talking like that, but you know, whoever is in power. It could even be a betrayal by the EU, that, I don't know, something has been agreed but then at the last minute gets pulled away. I don't know, something like that. But there seems to be there is a lot of emotion around at the time of the 31st of October. Let's just pull a couple of cards for the 31st of October. That might be interesting. Let's have a look at what it says in terms of the 31st of October. So please show me the energy for the 31st of October for the UK. Death upside down. Again, the pack doesn't have loads of reversals in it. In fact, it's weird. I've just gone through this whole pack and tried to make sure that every card was upright, because I don't tend to read reversals. But anyway, we've got death and it's come upside down. That's actually contradicting what we've got in terms of do we leave on the 31st, which I was viewing as a triumphant entry. You know, it's like victory, a new start. But now we've got the death card reversed. Why have we got the death card reversed? Because death hasn't happened. Cool, this is going to make me unpopular, what I'm about to say, for about 50% of the population in the UK. It's not something I've heard anybody else say. And I'm really sticking my neck out here. I have felt for a while, intuitively, that we may very well leave, but we then may very well go back in at some point. As mad as that sounds, because the death reversed is saying to me, it seems as though we leave, we exit, there's a lot of emotion, there's a betrayal, But it's like, it's not over. I think a lot of people that have been maybe trying to do readings on this, it's almost as though the end point is the 31st of October, or maybe an extension. And then it's like, well, what happens then? And people are seeing that we leave or we don't leave. Well, from what I've got here, it looks like, yes, we leave, but we've got the death reversed. And to me, this is saying that I'm going to stick by what I intuitively am feeling, that at some point, I don't know whether we're talking months, weeks, or years, or decades, there seems to be a reversal of thinking. And what seemed as though it was done, it was over, we've gone, you know, we've jumped off the cliff, we're into a new territory. It feels as though it comes back around again. Am I right in that, Metatron? I'm going to pull a couple of other cards from another deck about that. Is it possible? Is it possible that we leave and then we go back in at some point? Is it possible that we leave and then we go back in at some point? Deep knowing, that's the card of deep knowing. Well, I'm the one doing the reading, okay? I was just saying to you, intuitively, I've had a feeling what I've just said to you. So I'm going to take that. That's just confirming that I have a deep knowing about this. And the owl is on the top there, sort of with a nod to what do owls do? They fly at night and they can see in the dark. This is something that you can't really see at the moment. It's just a feeling. Let's just have another card. So am I correct here in thinking that we may leave and then go back in? Do we leave and then go back in? Do we leave the EU and then go back in? Do we leave the EU and then go back in? Fork in the road. And on the bottom of the pack is the card of serendipity, but it's got the to me this is Irish. That's Ireland. This is about this for me is it's the Irish. It's the I don't know. It just reminds me of the shamrock. It's the green of Ireland, and Ireland's always been the sticking point in terms of Brexit, in terms of what happens to Ireland. And I've got a fork in the road, which is and it's card number 13 again. Now we've got 13 twice. The death card, which was reversed, is card number 13, and we've got fork in the road, which is card number 13 from a different deck. And it's you know, a fork in the road is a part of the road that you can't see at the start, is what I want to say. So it feels as though at some juncture in the future, we come to a fork in the road as a nation, and it seems to be linked to the Irish situation. And 1 and 8 make 9. Do we go back in? You see, truth be told now, truth be told. You see, nobody knows how this is going to play out when we leave. Nobody knows. I mean, anybody that's honest will tell you that. Any politician of either side who is honest will tell you that. Boris will tell you that. I'm not saying he's not honest. I'm just saying he's the leader of the government. Nobody knows. So what I'm being taken to here is very interesting. Is I'm being taken out of the existing chaos and whatever is going to happen in the next few months. And it does seem as though there is a victory of sorts. I haven't even asked about general election yet. But I'm being taken further down the road into a different time frame. And I'm not saying it's immediate. I'm actually linking it to to our children's generation, to the younger generation that come through. There are a lot of variables here. There are a lot of variables. There are a lot of different time frames, and there are a lot of different timelines that can occur. So the script that has been written by a lot of people, certainly here in the UK, and I'm sorry if I offend my European friends here who may very well be watching, but there's been this sort of feeling that, you know, Europe's on a hine to nothing. the European dream will crumble. Well, it may crumble in its existing form because the people that are trying to create it might not be the right people. But if we are moving towards unity consciousness, which we are, and basically one world with less defined borders, there is going to be an increasing homogenization of people. I'm saying people rather than countries, because it doesn't mean that you don't still have your nationality in terms of what makes you French, what makes you British, what makes you American. You know, those things are important. It's part of history. It's who we are. Differences are important. Homogenization doesn't mean we all just become bland and all the same, but it's about pulling together as one. And so therefore the European dream, which has always been something, whether you agree with it or not, and some people hate the idea of the European dream, but you know, this sort of vision of all countries working together and all the rest of it, in its current format, it's not vibrationally high enough. There aren't the right people in there to create that. But who's to know, few months, few years, few decades down the road, what's going to happen? And what we're thinking at the moment, which is like, oh my God, it's all going to turn into like a totalitarian state. And, you know, it's like, you know, really like negative, negative, negative. We don't know that. There are different timelines out there. And another timeline basically says, actually, Europe could do pretty well. And I hope it does. I'm not dreaming in anything negative for Europe. I'm just talking about it from a UK perspective and some of the stuff that we've been fed by the media, okay? And some of the stuff that people very proudly talk about. Not judging it, it's just an opinion. But what if there was another vision for Europe, which was a greener place, a fairer place? This feels as though it's very linked into money as well, and more equal distribution of wealth. We're not there yet, realise that. So maybe this is showing that for now the UK needs to leave because it's not serving it. But at some point I'm still feeling this card in reverse, the death card in reverse. It's not over. Let's pull another couple of tarot cards on that. I just want to ask, do we leave? Do we leave and then come back? I'm not putting a time frame on this. Do we leave and then come back? And then I'm going to take us more into the present day again. Do we leave and then come back? So that was about 4 different cards. The Queen of Cups was there if anybody wants to know what it was, but the Queen of Cups. Do we leave and then come back? Just want one card really. Do we leave and come back? The Wheel of Fortune. How interesting. How interesting. How to interpret that. Many different ways you could interpret that. But to me, that's just... What the thing is, a wheel keeps on turning. Big wheel, keep on turning. Who did that? What was that song from? Don't know where that's coming from. I'll have to look it up in a minute. Big wheel, keep on turning. Running, turning down the river. I'll look it up in a minute. Creedence Clearwater Revival, was it? Wheel of Fortune is saying the wheel will keep on turning. So whatever happens right now and whatever transpires, this is a fluid situation. basically. It's a fluid situation and it is going to keep on changing. And I do still want to say that this feels like it's generational change as well. So it's almost as though whatever we do between now and October, whatever happens, whether we leave, we don't leave, general election, not a general election, what effectively happens is we move the dial on one, okay? We move it one place on. And I think what's happening is a lot of people are just thinking, oh, great, then we're in the new land, and it's like, and I'm just picking up today, it's like, no, and then we'll go to 2 o'clock, then we'll go to 3 o'clock, then we'll go to 4 o'clock. You know, it's like the whole thing keeps on moving. What is that song? Let's just look it up. I'm just going to pause the camera to find the song. Hi, it's me again. So I've got the lyrics. It's actually Proud Mary is the song, and it's Creedence Clearwater Revival. And there's a few things that strike me about the lyrics. One is obviously it's called Proud Mary. Now, what I'm hearing is Mary immediately takes me to Scotland. It immediately takes me to Mary, Queen of Scots. I think that what might happen is that we leave, and then there is just this growing, dawning reality that the breakup of the Union, the United Kingdom, is a result of it, a consequence of it, because I've picked up the Irish, and now Mary, to me, I'm linking it to Mary, Queen of Scots. I'm linking it to Scotland. Scotland voted to remain. They don't want to leave. So, and also this song also talks about commerce, talks about a job in the city. So it feels as though if we did go back in, it would be linked into the Irish and Scottish situation in particular. Rebellion, I'm hearing. This is assuming it even gets that far. And also commerce. Okay. So I'm just going to take a photograph of these cards, because I sometimes put them up as a shot. And then I'm going to put them all back in the pack, and I'm going to ask another question, okay? So let me just take my photo. Okay. Let's put them back in the pack now and ask another question. Give them a good old shuffle. Let's ask about general election. So let's come back to present time, because I was taking you forward in time there. And as I say, it could have been months, years, or even decades. But I think sometimes it's important to see things from a time frame that isn't just the present moment, because then you see the whole story. It's like anything. Otherwise, we're just reading one chapter of a story, not understanding, you know, the beginning, middle, and end of it. Although, as we've just seen with that card from the Wheel of Fortune, there never really is an end. Okay, all that glitters is not gold, I've just realised is on the bottom of the pile. Okay, right, let's ask a question. Let's go back. Let's ask about, is there going to be a general election? As it stands today, okay, as I say, 5:45 on the 3rd of September. Just check to see if anything else has happened. There's no point in me reading on it if they've just announced there's going to be one. No, so far nothing has been said. Okay. Likelihood of a general election. Let's say before Brexit. Okay, before the 31st. Likelihood of a general election. Got the card of patience. Okay, that's actually a different message to what I've just asked about. I said, is there going to be a general election before October the 31st? The angels, okay, this is like spirit. Spirit is saying, be patient. It's really interesting. I've never had that message before. It's almost like the angels are stepping in here and saying, whoa, whoa, okay, calm down, you know? It's like they're literally trying to calm the waters down. So that's one interpretation of that. I also feel that this Temperance card feels very Archangel Gabriel-like. Can you see what I mean? Gabriel, you know, is very much linked into the white ray. and white ray and silver as well. And this angel's all dressed in white, and Gabriel is known as the messenger angel. So I wonder whether Gabriel as an energy is going to come in and whisper to somebody, whether that be Boris, whether that be Corbyn, whether it be any of the main political leaders, whether it be the Queen even, to try to literally to give divine guidance is what I'm hearing, to give divine guidance. Because, yeah, as I'm looking at it on the bottom of the deck, I'll shuffle it again in a moment. We've got the Ten of Swords, which is an ending. I think spirit, spirit do worry about us at the end of the day. It doesn't mean that they're so worried that, we need to worry about them. I just mean that they're very aware of what's going on, and they can see the longer term view at the end of the day. So they're asking us to please be cautious. Let's just pull another card. So likelihood of a general election. Even though we've just been warned by the angels, do you really need one? Is it really valid? Not is it valid? No, I'll take that back. They're just warning caution. They're just asking us to be patient and calm down if we can. Is there a likelihood of another general election? Is it likely that we're going to have another general election before the 31st of October? The Three of Wands and the Chariot, I would say yes from that, because the Three of Wands is about somebody looking forward to the future with a vision. When you have a general election, you have to have a manifesto. You have to have something that you believe in to sell to people so that they vote for you. So it feels here as though this is, it could be any of the political leaders, but they're looking to the future. It's like they've got their eye on the horizon. And the Chariot here is saying that it will happen sooner rather than later. So it feels to me as though that's saying it's before the election, not after the election. Okay, so let's ask if there is going to be a general election. I mean, this is all changeable. It might have changed within the next 24, 48 hours, but as of today, this is what the energy is feeling like. If there is going to be one, I'm going to pull a card for each of the main parties, okay? I also, yeah, okay. So I'm just going to pull a card for, I don't know all of the different parties for Ireland, Wales and Scotland, so apologies. I'm just going to do Labour, Conservative and Liberal, okay? Although, to be honest, the current Conservative government is only been propped up by the DUP, which are a Northern Ireland party. So, but anyway, just for the purposes of this read, let's just see a card for Boris, if there's a general election. Card for Boris Johnson. In the event of a general election, he's got the Magician. Okay, he's got the Magician. So he's got the card. That's a fantastic card for him, because that's saying he's got all of the tools on the table. Okay, he's got all the tools on the table that he could possibly need. So he certainly goes into it very fired up, believing that, I'm almost wondering whether he always knew all along that this was going to happen. I don't think he's particularly freaked out by it at all. I almost feel like, I want to say, I'm feeling it was part of his game plan all along. And I am feeling that there is a link to USA there. The way that he's got his arm raised reminds me of the Statue of Liberty. So I feel that he's being aided and abetted by Mr. Trump as well, President Trump. Whether you like that thought or you don't like that thought, but that's what's coming to me with that stance. It's reminding me of the Statue of Liberty, so it's a nod to the USA and the UK relationship. The USA relationship and the UK relationship is symbolised here by that infinity sign, which is just sort of flowing to and from each other. So he's got all the tools there. So if there is a general election, he's going into it very strong indeed. Let's have a card now for Jeremy Corbyn. Card for Jeremy Corbyn in the event of a general election. Now I read on, he's the King of Wands. That's not bad either. King of Wands. So this is going to be a closer match. If there is an election, it will be closer than people think it is going to be. And on the bottom of the pack, I just noticed, pulling that card for Jeremy Corbyn, we've got judgment. I feel that this is like this sounds obvious, but it's a judgment call on his leadership as well. What colour hair has Jeremy Corbyn got? Has it got like a reddish tint to it? No. I think he's grey now anyway. I don't know what his hair colour used to be. But anyway, I don't know why. It's just that this guy's got red hair here. So, so Boris is the magician. Jeremy is the King of Wands. I mean, Jeremy Corbyn showed that in the last election that we had here. A lot of people were writing him off as a joke. Okay, they were. And then what happened was, as soon as the general election was in the swing, he seemed to just galvanise support. A lot of young people came on board with his message. And it's like he came alive. And I think he's one of these people that's much better when there is something. He's better during the time. He's a good campaigner. That's what I'm trying to say. He's a good campaigner when it comes to electioneering. He seems to fade into the background a bit more when it's sort of like the day-to-day stuff. So he seems to come alive again. It's like it fires him up. Now, there are people saying that, you know, if Boris calls a general election tomorrow, that Jeremy might even say, no, I don't want one. But I don't know. I'm just reading this on if there is one. What are their energies looking like? Let's pull one for the Liberal Democrats. They've just been taken over by a lady. I think her name is Jo Swinson from memory. Let's just have a little look at Jo. Interesting. I've just gone to look at Jo, and my mobile phone, can you see it's 555? So she's got some quite interesting energy about her. Number 5. Oh, you can just look up the meaning of number 5. Numerologically, I've talked about it a lot in my previous videos, but for me, I'm a nod to the 5th dimension. I want to say. Let me just make sure I'm right. I want to get her name right. Jo Swinson, I think she's called. Oh, am I? Maybe I'm not right. Hold on. It's important I get this right, because otherwise you're shuffling cards with somebody's name. Oh, Jo Swinson. Jo Swinson. I don't know who Jo Swinson was. But anyway, Jo Swinson, leader of the Liberal Democrats. And she's only been in that position since 2019. And she's the youngest person to hold the position. She is quite young. Let's just get a picture of her up for people that don't know what she looks like. So if you're not in the UK, you're not going to know who she is, I know, but that's what she looks like. So you can see, it's funny, that's my lamp making that halo around her. Jo Swinson. Okay, I'm drawn to the fact that Jo Swinson is wearing, in the photograph that I'm choosing to show to you, which is the first one that came up on Google search, she's wearing that lime green. Here, can you see lime green is on the card for Jeremy? So I don't know whether there's some sort of Liberal Labour pact, or I don't know if it was very close, whether the Liberals and Labour could somehow form some sort of pact. I don't know. But I'm just noticing that about the colours. Let's just pull a card for Jo though. So she's very early days into the job. She is young. The Liberals always traditionally come third. But we'll see. Let's have a look. Liberal Democrats. In the event of a general election, Jo Swinson. Jo Swinson. In the event of a general election. The Page of Cups. Yeah, you see, that's sort of what I'm feeling. It's like she's not the king, she's the page. It sort of came upside down as well, which isn't great. I mean, the Page of Cups comes with an offer. Okay, I'm hearing she comes with an offer, a vision for the future, but it's rejected. That doesn't surprise anybody because, you know, nobody would expect the Liberals to come into power. But is there an expression about wet fish? It's a bit like there's a fish falling out of the cup upside down, you know? It's because of her. She's young. She's young. It's not her time yet. So it's not really about her. Let's pull a card for the... Let's just pull a card for Scotland. The Scottish Party. Nicola Sturgeon's party. I just want to get the name right. Don't want to offend anybody watching. Nicola Sturgeon. She's a tough lady, I tell you. She's tough. Nicola Sturgeon. Okay. Scottish National Party. Let's pull a card for the Scottish National Party in the event of a general election. Card for the Scottish National Party, please, in the event of a general election. The Sun. The way the cards are coming, I can also see the Empress is just peeking out there, okay? The Empress is a card of fertility. I'm going to take the cards that are sneaking out, because I've got the Empress, the King of Pentacles, and the Nine of Wands. I think this is her. Okay, I think she's sitting pretty if there's an election. I think she does quite well. I think she's sitting pretty. The sun is, or certainly whatever happens, the sun, the spotlight is on Scotland. Scotland seem to hold the balance of power, or the whole Scottish question can't be ignored, you know. It's like, I'm sure a lot of Scottish people feel as though their will has been ignored over the last few years, because Scotland did vote Remain, but yet we are leaving as a united kingdom. So the sun shines on Scotland. Hooray, I hear you say, those of you up in Scotland, because often it's not very sunny and hot. The sun is shining. This is symbolic, of course. You've also got the King of Pentacles there. I'm not quite sure who he is. Why have we got the King of Pentacles? I don't think she's bribable. That's a nice thing to say about a politician. I'm not saying she's totally, you know, virtuous. I'm sure she has her faults, but I'm hearing she's not bribable, because I'm feeling as though whoever holds the power is, there's a gold coin here. There's a gold coin, you know, come to me and make a deal. And it's like, no, I'm not having any of it. And, you know, it's like the bull. The bull is there, you know, you don't provoke the bull. You don't provoke the bull. She's not for sale. And I'm wanting to say Scotland is not for sale as well. She is not for sale and Scotland is not for sale. Okay. I will just do one for Northern Ireland as well. So a couple of, I don't know all the parties in Northern Ireland. I will just pull a card for the two parties that I do know. Let's do the DUP first. DUP have held the balance of power, and they've kept the Conservatives in power here for the last couple of years. So led by Arlene somebody or other. I was about to say Foster, but that's not the woman who dances. Arlene Phillips is the woman who dances. She's definitely not that. Arlene Foster, yeah. You see, again, Arlene Foster, she's a tough cookie. Nicola Sturgeon's a tough cookie. These women are not, you know, they're not going to be pushed around. Right, let's have a card for Arlene then. DUP in the event of a general election. DUP in the event of a general election. Keeping their cards very close to their chest. The card doesn't want to come out for the first thing to say. Keeping their cards very close to their chest is what I'm hearing. The DUP, Arlene Foster, in the event of a general election. The card's not coming out. Oh, okay, I'll take the one on the bottom of the deck then. The card wasn't coming out, but I've got the Queen of Swords. Yeah, that would fit. She's just, she's not going to stand for any nonsense. And to be fair, she hasn't stood for any nonsense. She stood up for what they believe in. She's going to stand up for Northern Ireland. Really interesting. Both Arlene Foster and Nicola Sturgeon. So Nicola Sturgeon represents Scotland. I know not everybody loves Nicola Sturgeon in Scotland. I'm very aware of that. I'm just using this as an example. Two strong women. And Arlene Foster in Northern Ireland, they're cut of the same cloth, I'm hearing. And by that, it's like, to use an old expression, the lady's not for turning. You know, you can't sweeten them up. Well, I mean, money, maybe. Arlene Foster, what do I mean by that? Hold on a minute. I don't feel you can bribe the Scottish lady, the Northern Ireland. They did take, you see, they did take money. That's the whole thing. They did take money for Northern Ireland. Let's have one more card for Arlene. Show me Arlene's energy with regard to all this, please. The Knight of Wands. Yeah, she just wants what she wants. She wants what she wants. She'll go all out to get it. There's not a lot of softness there. That's really what I was trying to say when, in terms of you can't sweeten her up. There's no softness, there's no small talk, there's no pillow talk with Arlene, you know. It's, I'm just going to charge ahead with my sword and my wand, and I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to get what I can out of this situation for my people, for my party. It's much more about her neck of the woods. It's not about the United Kingdom. It's just about her neck of the woods. Interesting. Let's pull a card for Sinn Féin. Let's just pull one card for Sinn Féin because I know I might be asked. Sinn Féin. They would do a deal with the devil, I'm hearing. Judgment. Well, that's what I heard. They would do a deal with the devil, and now I've got the Judgment card. Skeletons coming up from the graves. Giving them the balance of power would bring up a lot of skeletons from the past. What goes with that? Sinn Féin. Yeah, you see, I don't know, in some weird way, there is one timeline, there is one scenario whereby Sinn Féin helped get the deal through, or, you know, somehow get it past the finishing line, because that's the card for victory. But it would come with a real cost. Judgment call. Don't like the energy of it. I don't know what I'm picking up here. I just don't like the energy of that at all. It would cause a lot of problems. Okay. Right, I'm going to put all the cards back into the deck and just see if there's any other questions that are going to be asked. Oh, I didn't pull one for Wales. Okay, let's pull one for Wales. Okay, can't forget Wales. And I know I've got some Welsh viewers as well. So let's just see, the Welsh party. Clyde, I can't say it. Clyde, hold on a minute. Plaid Cymru. Adam Price. He's the leader of Plaid Cymru. Oh, apologies, guys. I don't know. Let's just pull a card then for them. Plaid. I don't know. I can't speak. It is dinner time. I want to go and have my dinner. So let's just try and pull one card for the leader of the Welsh party. Plaid Cymru, which I can't say. Sorry, I love you, Wales. I love Wales as a country. It's beautiful. Just can't speak it. The Ace of Pentacles. Well, they don't want to leave. They don't want to leave the EU. Okay, they don't want to leave the EU because of the money that it brings in to their country. So that's what I'm picking up there. In a general, and that's how people would vote, is what I'm hearing. Yeah, I've got the Pentacles again on the bottom of the deck. They need the investment, they need the money. I'm feeling as though they feel as though they get more attention from Europe than they do from Westminster. Okay, let's put all the cards back into the deck and let's just see if there's any other question to come out. Oh, I'm gonna do one for the Queen here, where she figures into all of this. The Queen and Brexit. Let's just shuffle all the cards, put them all back in. Yeah, the Queen. So the Queen doesn't have power like a lot of people think she has. I'm talking people abroad, okay? And I think the last time that she stepped into, well, it was a long time ago that she stepped in and would have changed anything. Hold on a minute. Okay, I'll be down in 10. Dinner's ready. Right, let's just pull 3 cards for the Queen with regard to this situation we've got going on at the moment. Let's just focus. Present day, Brexit, the Queen. How's she figured in all of this? The energy of the Queen, Brexit, the Queen, Brexit. One is not amused, I'm hearing. One is not amused. I will say again, one is not amused. She's not amused. You won't see that though. She's too professional. The Queen. Well, for her, we've got the money cards are coming up. She's worried about the pound. She's worried about how it would affect the pound. Funny, just talking about money, door opened, daughter wanting money. So she's worried about the financial stability of the pound, okay? We've got the Ace of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles. She's worried about wealth of the country. You know, the 10 of Pentacles normally is the card which links into inheritances. So it's like what we've invested in, what we've earned, what we've built up over time. And there are all these pentacles in the chest. So it's what we've already acquired, and it's also about what we will acquire. So it's about money for the Queen. And it's about the prestige of the pound. At the end of the day, you know, her head is on the note, okay? Her head is on the coin. So she's worried about the money. Let's see. One other card, the Queen and Brexit. Just stop a minute before I say anything. 10 of Pentacles and the Ace. 10 and 1 make 11. 11 is a doorway. There's something very, I don't know why I said that. Why did I say that? 11 and the Queen. Oh, I don't want to say that message on. Don't say that. For God's sake. Oh, for God's sake. Sorry, that's my daughter outside. There are some messages you don't want to pass on. I don't particularly want to pass this on, so I'm going to let the cards speak for them. I've said this before though in another video. I said I was going to say it as it is. I've felt for a while, I think I said this maybe a year ago, and I did the first Brexit video I ever did, that I felt something might happen to the Queen around the time when it all blows up. Brexit I'm talking about. I've got the Ten of Swords, somebody being carried out. And I was just talking about a gateway. 10 and 10 and 1 make 21. 21 is about the coming of age, the coming of a new age. I'm going to pull a card for, do you know, I always want to say I want to pull a card for William. Because I really, to me, again, it's almost like when we were doing the Brexit stuff earlier, William's the future of the monarchy. So if Charles comes in at some point, it's not going to be for that long. So anyway, let's pull a card for Charles. Let's pull a card for William. Hold on, put that back in the Charles. Show me Charles and Brexit. Show me Charles and Brexit. Charles is coming out as the King of Cups. He always comes out as the King of Cups. Those of you that saw my second Diana video, you'll know that he was the King of Cups in that as well. Well, a king is a king. He is a king. Look how miserable that king looks in this deck though. Can you see the expression on his face? It's almost like what I've waited for all my life. It doesn't make me happy. It's like I'm pouring all the water away. I mean, that's such a miserable interpretation of the King of Cups. God, my eyes look wide. Sorry, just keep your sense of humour. Because actually I'm feeling a rising sense of panic. It's really interesting. I'm feeling the energy of these cards. I'm getting a rising sense of panic. If something were to happen to the Queen, and I'm not dreaming anything in at all, I think there would be a rising, there would be a panic. And remember, this is only one timeline that I'm tapped into. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen. So we've got the King of Cups for Charles. Let's have a card for William. William and Brexit. Charles is also feeling very emotional about Brexit. Very, very emotional. It's almost like he wouldn't be able to stop himself from saying things if he really did come into more of a place of power. William and Brexit. Yeah, feeling calmer, feeling more reasoned. William and Brexit. The Seven of Pentacles with William. So can you see the Emperor is just nudging out of the pack there? The Emperor. The Emperor is the father card. And the Ten of Wands. Yeah, that's so interesting, isn't it? Look. So let's just do this. Charles at some point becomes king. Feels overwhelmed by it, I think. Or just a lot of emotion there. William at some point in the future is king. We know that, okay? And he sets to work. He sets to work. We've got the father's influence there. And we've also got this card, which is the Ten of Wands. Which, but I wanted to put these two with Charles, actually. I'm feeling that with Charles, this is Charles. Ten of Wands is always traditionally like you got there, you're nearly there, you finished the project, you've seen it through. But you know, again, both of these pictures, if you look at them, they show a man who's sort of like, you know, cool, it's hard work and I'm upset. But I'm supposed to be the Emperor. I'm supposed to be the king. Maybe it's also just that William helps him out. I don't know. William's there coming through with a sort of industrious, responsible, sensible, mature energy is what I'm feeling. Let's pull one more card for William. And then I am going to go and have my dinner. Needs must. We're never going to get all the answers in any one reading on such a complex subject as this. And as I say, it's moving all the time. By the time I upload this video tomorrow, everything might have changed again. But anyway, we can only go with a look at a current energy. Right, William, the Three of Swords. I don't think that's anything happening to William. Yeah, you see the King of Wands. I think there's a quick, let's put it this way, I think there's a quick line of succession to William at some point in the future, okay? And then he becomes the King of Wands. And he isn't over emotional, but he has got the drive, he has got the ambition, he has got the vision, and he's got that combination of masculine red and olive green feminine energy. It's almost like he's got his mother's energy at his feet and round his voice chakra, his throat chakra, the olive green around his throat and the olive green at his feet, and the staff which has got green shoots coming out of it. So as far as I want to get with that in this reading, because I wasn't expecting it to be like that. Right. Let's just spray a spray. I think we're done. Spray the Metatron Flame Attunement spray, which is just a guidance spray for me here. Right. So Metatron, please just guide us. I'm being shown lots of beacons lit around the country. The last time that happened, I'm trying to remember, there was a time quite recently when that happened, when lots of beacons were lit all around the country. I mean, I'm on the coast, so, you know, beacons were lit. I'm wanting to say the beacons are welcoming in a new dawn. Let's make it a good one. Let's pull together as a country and a world. Let's not fight. Let's not need to be right. Let's just try and make the best of however the cards fall. And I'm talking about cards there in a literal sense. Okay. And if you're in the UK, whether you're in England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, let's try and be a beacon for the world in a good way. Enough of the fighting. Much love, everyone. That was interesting, wasn't it? Bye for now. Love you all. Bye.